So we're working in TwinMotion. We're trying to figure out how to just kind of get started in that program. It's a lot to it. There's a lot to learn, but I want to just kind of walk you through the step by step. How do you start a file, and then how do you import things from SketchUp into TwinMotion, and then start fooling around with them. I'm sharing my screen. Let's start with TwinMotion itself. So I'm going to go right to TwinMotion. Hopefully you can see this. As you know, you start with Epic Games Launcher, and then I've got the EDU 2023 version on this computer. So I just hit launch and it launches it. It takes a couple of minutes. If you don't have one in there, you go to the Epic Games Launcher and then you can install it from there. And I gave you the links for all that stuff. So what I want to do here is go to my new scene, and it just takes me to a brand new project. And this is the standard setup that you always get. As you know, we've got a whole bunch of assets over here, like 700,000. It's incredible. A whack of stuff over here in this side. So if I want to play with the ambiance, which is to say time of day, how the light goes, things like that, exposure, all kinds of weather, I can control that here. This little business in the middle is called the starting pedestal, starting base with the pedestal and everything. You can turn it off right there. I usually just turn it right off right away. It's kind of a helpful thing to do though, because if you find yourself saying, well, I'm going to go up in the air, I'm going to fly out here in the sky, and I get really far away from wherever I was and where I started, how do I get back to where I was? Click on your starting base like that, and then hit the F key. Bam, it will take you right back there and center that starting base on your page, even if it's turned off. As you see, I've got the little eyeball turned off. So as you're navigating around here, you're banging around, you grab your toolbar and you can zoom around like that and go under the ground and all kinds of things. If you ever find yourself lost, click that starting base, hit the F key, basically find this or fill the screen with this, and it will center that for you, just like we learned in Stager. Okay, what we want to do is create some kind of a landscape in here. So I'm going to go into my materials base. Am I going to go to materials? There's in the library, you got a whole bunch of different stuff in here. Vegetation, I've got landscapes inside vegetation, and there's a flat one right there. I might just go, give me that flat one, and put it in there. It says I got to put that together, and then bam, there's just a whole big, great landscape that I can play with. It doesn't do anything with the exterior, the sky, the surround of that. So what I'd kind of like to do is go back to my library here and look at HDRI environments, which is to say they're spherical. So you can put an environment in here and have it surround your environment, and you can look any direction, it still makes sense. It's not like a flat 2D thing, it's 3D. So in here, I want to go look at my outdoor ones. I'm supposed to make something in a park, and it gives me a million possibilities here. Take a look at those things. They're all over the place, and you can pick all kinds of different things. Almost all of them are not downloaded. If you see this little arrow in the corner, Sunset Fairway, that sounds great. There's a little arrow. That means it's not downloaded yet. Click that arrow. It'll download very quickly, and then you can use that particular one. I'm going to grab this approaching storm one right here and pull it in, and it will take, again, another second, and then bam, it will populate my model with that. So now I've got basically this whole opportunity. I can kind of zoom up here and see how that looks for me and whether I'm happy with how that goes. So I kind of got that set up now. Again, I can kind of zoom around in here and see how things are going. One of the things I just want to mention is that if you are using HDRI environments, you will find that you can't do what we just did earlier, global lighting. It's not available. I can't change it because the HDRI environment that you brought in also comes with controls about lighting, weather, all that kind of stuff. So it is taking over your controls. If you would rather change those, and I think you probably want to, you have to come down here in your ambience. Pick your ambience up here. Down here underneath it says HDR environment, and there's a little button right here that says enable. If you click that off, what that means now is that now I've got the controls again over time of day, over weather, all kinds of stuff like that. So I can change this to a rainy day and have it pouring, and there's puddles everywhere, and it's a huge mess. So kind of fun to get a chance to play with those kinds of things. That's how you do that, though. Okay. Now, the last thing I want to show you quickly is you're in Twinmotion. I want to go get something. I'm supposed to make a model in here of an outdoor environment. So I go in here. What I did was in SketchUp, I looked for outdoor sail. I thought I might find something like, like a sail structure or something like that. And there's one here called Shade Sails. As you know, if you click the name of it, it will tell you lots about it. It will tell you who made it, how big it is, all kinds of other stuff for that. And if you click the picture of it, it will just go like, I'm going to put that into your model. Then get out of this window here and say, give me that thing, and there it is. So that's what I used for the demo that I showed you guys in class, is this particular thing. If you're going to do something like this, that's legal. If you find yourself saying, I found an outdoor designed museum display, the whole thing's done, I'm just going to bring it in here and call it mine. Don't do that. Make sure you're doing your own research and build things, and then use things like this to populate it. So you're effectively saying, I'm not going to buy the whole house. I'm just going to pick a sofa from here and a chair from there and a table from there, design it myself. So I hope that makes sense. So now what I've got here is this outdoor structure. I'm going to save this as my sail structure, and I'll put it in my desktop where I can find it later so I don't have to wander around my computer. SketchUp model, I don't have to save it any particular special way. Save that. Come back here to TwinMotion. There's a button down here at the very bottom. You can barely see it, called Import. And Import menu says, what would you like me to get? And I go, I want you to get, after I get Zoom out of the way, I want you to go get from my computer, open, desktop, shade, sail, structure, open. And it says, are you sure you want to do that? And you go, yeah, I'm positive. Boink. And it puts it right there. And it shows up here. And again, I can do that same thing with this. I can click this and say F, and there's my shade structure in an easy way for me to find and navigate my way around. So you might find yourself going, well, that's cool, but what I want to be able to do is add lights. Those are really easy to do. You go to Library and come down to Lights and grab a light and put it on your model. And it will light up that particular area. And if I go over here and say, that's cool, it gives you the light and lets you control it, IES01. But if I come back to Ambiance and say, I want to turn my time of day down, that light now is shining in my sail structure. Isn't that cool? So I hope that helps in terms of getting things started on this. I'm happy to make more videos about this thing, but this is at least a start on how this thing might work. I'll talk to you very soon with more fun stuff.